Hello, good evening, and a warm welcome to The Turning Point from ITN Sri Lanka. The Turning Point is a political and economic discussion program discussing matters close to your heart, the heart of the people. And it is, yes, surprisingly, maybe to some surprisingly, it is on state-owned television, which doesn't mean that it's not balanced. If you follow us, you will see that this is indeed a balanced program. There's no other way. There's no point you believing everything you read in the social media. So this is Turning Point from ITN Sri Lanka, Monday to Friday, 6 to 6:30 p.m. Let's find out, shall we, who our guest is this evening. And yes, indeed, our guest this evening is Mr. Indika Liyanahewage, who is with us today as the president of the Sri Lanka Apparel Exporters Association in his working life. His other bit of working life, for which he gets paid probably, is he's the CEO of Eskimo Fashions, a very old company in Sri Lanka. And I mention the name because it's important to celebrate companies that have invested so much of effort and time in not only in money, but investing in people, in training, and so on. And I think on behalf of the people of our country, we need to applaud your shareholders and your promoters who brought this company back into Sri Lanka over 40 years ago, from the GCC days.
Exactly.
So, Indika, thank you for being on the Turning Point for ITN Sri Lanka. What's the size of the apparel exporters in terms of people employed? How many people?
At the moment, for us, we are employing about 350,000 people in Sri Lanka in the apparel sector.
And that's directly?
Directly.
So about how much more?
Yes, indirectly about 1 million people are benefited, like food providers, transport providers, and other suppliers. So about 1 million people are dependent out of 22 million in this industry.
Excellent. And in terms of money, Nandalal Singh, our governor of the central bank, he's still got his hair, so he's not pulling his hair out so much. But how much of money do you guys bring in as an industry?
If you take last year, 2023, we brought about 4.5 billion US dollars to Sri Lanka. If you take 2022, which was the best year ever, we brought about 5.5 billion dollars to Sri Lanka.
So, you know, that's astonishing. You had your best years ever inside in the recovery process of our economy.
Yes.
So it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that is because there were 2 years of COVID.
Yeah.
So after 2020, 2021, with the downturn in the purchasing, most of buyers thought that 2022 the demand will rise. So everybody placed order, not only in Sri Lanka, in other countries as well. So it's a global phenomenon, so which we were benefited in 2022, but the downturn came in 2023 because in 2022, after they bought so much, they had stocks with them.
Right.
So our 2023 sale was about 4.5 billion.
In terms of net revenue to your, your company and obviously to the others, industry-wise, 2022 in terms of revenue, in turnover was the best ever.
Yeah.
But what about in terms of net?
Value addition.
Yes.
It's about 45%.
Right.
Yeah, 45% of 5.5 billion was the value added from Sri Lanka because others go out as raw material.
Okay. So in terms of your own company's profits, was 2022 also a best year?
Yes.
So it had nothing to do with these higher costs of transport, this, that, and the other?
No, because there were a lot of sales coming in.
Okay.
So the Sri Lanka, when you look at the whole capacity of Sri Lanka, was fully booked in 2022.
Right.
So we benefited in 2022, but 23 and 24 is the other way around. We are going to a very tough time.
And on Turning Point for ITN Sri Lanka, if you want to send us a question, you can do that. All you have to do is send an SMS or a WhatsApp to 0772 300 305. It's live, straight here onto the desk. Don't call us, but send us a message. Card coming up on the screen. Thank you. So, Indika, these are all wonderful news for our economy. Great news to Governor Nandalal at the Central Bank, and the city wardens at the Treasury must be clapping their way all along. Be that as it may, there are some negatives. Why is it that working, especially a female working in a factory, however good this factory is, you know, like your company and the MSs and the Brandix of this world, they are solid businesses committed to international standards. The world's better brands are proud to manufacture their product in this country. But why is it that people want to look down on the workers?
Thank you for asking that question, Faraz, because this is actually a major myth that the society has. Because if you look at the apparel sector employee, they contribute immensely to the country. Because our sector is a very efficient sector. When we go to work in the morning till evening, we all of us are working very efficiently and bringing dollars to the country. So the main thing is from 1980s there was this stigma about this. But the sad part is still it's being carried forward by media. And for example, take teledramas. Teledramas show the apparel worker as the lowest job, right? If you fail that exam, go to the garment. That's what they say, right? So that has to change. That perception has to change, because if you come to one of our factories, they are like 5-star hotels. Like most of the factories are fully air conditioned, transport provided, meals provided, uniforms provided, and we all work as a team. We all work as a team, and we have done so much to bring these female employees up in their lives. There are people who came as machine operators and have become managers, right? Who owns a house, a car, and well-fledged managers. So it's a myth that media is still carrying on, which is a very sad part. I saw a news item 2-3 weeks ago that a worker has been abducted somewhere in Panadura side. The news item says garment sevikawa. Right, so anganum sevika,
but in a very derogatory way.
Exactly. Why do they do that? If it was a person of another profession, will they say that? So that has to stop.
Do you, as an industry, do you all spend enough money on PR to change the narrative?
We have done that. We have tried a lot, but the problem is the mainstream media has still not done it. So we are willing to engage with them. We are willing to engage and talk to them and to change this myth, because our employees are very respectable. Our employees are coming from good families, right? So therefore, there is absolutely no need for anybody to look down upon them.
At the end of the day, I think we need to celebrate the fact that Sri Lankan women...
And they are the efficient sector. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, apparently, I don't know where the scientific basis of this is, but ladies all over the world can sort of do two things at the same time. Men apparently can't do that. They can't. So we can only deal with one problem at a time. But ladies can do everything else. They run the home, they run the kids, they run the husband, and they now have to work. Do you think, Indika, that this has happened because in the past, Sri Lankan culture, the ladies were homemakers and the men went out to work? And so with the explosion of the economy, and President Premadas's 500 factories and all of that, which is all very good things, you then found a lot of ladies leaving home, going to work. It's better than, in my view, it's better than going abroad because of the social
it was there in 1980s, like I told. But the thing is, why is it carrying now? So it is the problem. Now we have social media everywhere,
Yeah.
right? So now these people get engaged in all these things as well. So why is it carrying now? It is, I think, mainly the main media institutions portraying them in teledramas and various other programs as a lower class job.
I have an idea, maybe as an association, you can start funding films and say, well, you know, if that storyline's there, I'm not giving you the money because I don't like it.
Yes, probably that we can look at.
You know, but you are working, how are the standards of employment for these, for the people who work in the factories?
Our industry is highly regulated by our customers. We have all top international brands. They come and do compliance testing. So every week you have somebody coming in, almost every week, to check the compliance. So our working conditions, remuneration, everything is fully checked upon.
Including human rights?
Everything, of course, very much. So therefore, our standards are kept very high compared to other industries which do not do compliance.
Do you have many are there unions within the industry?
Some organizations have,
right.
yes.
Is that a good thing, bad thing?
It depends, because I wouldn't say union is a bad thing, but it depends on how you deal with the union and how the union deals with the organization. Yeah.
Okay, we'll come back to this question about the unions and their role and what they can do. This, of course, is the turning point. Let's go for a quick break. Let's listen to some messages from our advertisers, and then we'll be back with Indika Liyanahewage. If you want to send us your questions, 0772 300 305. This is the turning point for ITN Sri Lanka, and my guest this evening is Mr. Indika Liyanahewage, who is the chairman or the president of the Sri Lanka Apparel Exporters Association. He's also the CEO of a very long-established company, Eskimo Fashions. Now then, Indika, how well does your industry benefit from having not only stable policies, but stable government?
It is very important. Now, let's take one example, SWAT.
Yeah.
SWAT now, there is a proposal that SWAT will be abolished in March next year. That will be a huge problem. This was introduced during President Mahinda Rajapaksa's time as a solution for these refunds not coming. So, as a company, if we have to pay some tax to the government and we have to get some refund. If that refund doesn't come on time, we are tightening our working capital.
Right.
At the moment, we generally borrow on US dollar terms.
Yeah.
At the moment, the US dollar interest rate is about 8%, which is a huge amount. So, if SWAT is abolished, all our companies will have to tighten so much money and wait till the refund comes. So, we are not against removal of SWAT, but we are against removal of SWAT without a tested and proven refund system.
Right, so that you can deduct what is owed to you.
Exactly.
And remit the balance.
Remit the balance. So it's a fantastic system. What I got to know from various parties is that this system is only in Sri Lanka, and which is a fantastic system. So we all welcome the SWAT and we all want it to stay. Because, and also, remember, Faraz, when money gets involved, right, to get the refund, what comes in?
Yes.
Right? It's a way to corruption.
Yes.
So I don't want to mention the names of the institutions,
Yeah.
but it will open a lot of means for corruption to come in. So with the SWAT system, absolutely nothing, because the money doesn't go in, right? So money doesn't come back. So if there's a net balance, either we pay or the government pays back to us within a stipulated period of time. So this kind of policy consistency is important for us to move forward. Otherwise, we will have problems. Now, actually, we are really concerned about this SWAT going out in next year, March, end of March. So we have gone to the government, we have spoken to IMF and Minister of Finance and everybody and made a lot of requests to keep it.
And what about the fabric park in Erabul, the Erabul project?
Yes, this was commenced in 2020. Sadly, we still don't have a single factory there. Why? In 2020, when this was started, there were about three companies, three investors who wanted to come and invest like $35 million each. So this came in, they came in, but it dragged. One reason was COVID, 2020, 2021, there was COVID, fine. Then after that, still, there is no company is functioning. Why?
Yeah.
Out of the three companies which came with investment, only one remained, other two withdrew. Right? Why? Delays. So the company which is there also got the approval about 2 months ago. Now this kind of delays in the government sector will definitely discourage investors. Now when we go out of the country, when we go and meet Chinese investors and various Indian investors, we tell, bring your fabric mills to Sri Lanka. How can we tell that for us when there are delays like that? Right? Now, are we responsible for that? So government institutions are responsible for that. They can't come and tell us various reasons why they can't do it. We are not here to listen for the reasons of failure.
You need to get it done.
We need to get it done.
How much, you say, you had a bumper year in 22.
Yeah.
And currently you're bringing in about $4.5 billion, $4.5 billion. How much more can we increase it to?
If we have a good fabric base, right, I can't put a number right now, but significantly we can improve. Because our capacity also can be increased, and actually Sri Lanka has a very mature apparel sector. Our sector is very matured. Actually, countries like Bangladesh have employed our managers, our CEOs. Actually, they are building the apparel industry in countries like Bangladesh. So we are very capable in terms of production. So if we have the fabric mills and raw material base in Sri Lanka, we can give faster turnaround times to our customers, which can significantly improve our turnover. Yeah.
Right. So basically, for any industry to grow, including yours, we need to have stable policies. We need to have proactive people working in government.
Yes.
Committed to helping the entrepreneurs
Yes.
to achieve their objectives.
Absolutely.
Because it all then can result in more taxes paid and so
Yes.
on. Do you have any sort of figures as to how much your industry paid the treasury in terms of taxes?
Actually, I don't have it off the cuff, but
Yeah.
just imagine $4.5 billion is coming in, so we pay our taxes wherever taxes are due.
Right.
Yes.
So it's not that all these monies is going abroad.
No.
Okay. And what are the other issues? Can I ask you about Bangladesh? They're having some troubles, unfortunately. We've been there. We've done it all, sort of thing. Did you get worried that Sri Lanka, after post-Aragale,
Yes.
might go into sort of an anarchy situation?
Yes, there were those worries. Actually, our customers were questioning us at that time. So it was not good for the industry, for sure. So Aragale was definitely a damage.
And the end of the Aragale, how did your customers take that?
After the end of Aragale, we were able to bounce back. But having said that, even during COVID time, our industry was working. With all the health protocols, our industry actually barely closed down. So during 2020, 2021, even during Aragale time, our industry was working. That's why I said our employees are a treasure for this country.
Absolutely.
Right? So we were working during all the difficult times. So post Aragale, our customers also would have thought about the location strategy. So maybe that is one reason why we got less orders in 2023 and 2024 as well. Similarly, that will happen to Bangladesh also. So when one customer has so much of production in one place, they will even in an event like what is happening in Bangladesh, their supplies will get interrupted.
So that's the ultimate. Really.
That's the ultimate. So customers will start thinking about their location strategy and put their production across many countries. Yeah.
Dare I ask, the troubles in Bangladesh, will that help us get a bit more orders?
At the moment, there are some companies looking for, some customers are looking for immediate capacity. But having said that, I don't think in the longer run there will be a big, massive gain for us because they will also settle down.
And like for like, how many shirts can the Bangladesh worker produce versus the Sri Lankan worker?
In terms of efficiency, you mean?
Yes.
Efficiency, I would say it's almost the same.
Right.
Efficiency-wise, we are quite equal.
Cost of labor?
Cost-wise, labor-wise, we are still better than Bangladesh. But our overheads are a bit higher than Bangladesh.
Because?
Because of our electricity. But that is July, before July. But after July reduction, yes, we are now getting closer to other comparative nations in terms of electricity.
What about in terms of labor laws? Is ours more complicated?
Yes, our labor laws are very good and we love it. When labor laws are tight, we like it because that is the way for governance. So we welcome all the labor laws that are there because labor laws should be there. Then it protects the employee. In turn, it protects the organization. So we welcome. And of course, there was the new Labor Act coming, but now it is, I don't know whether it will come or not. So we were having discussions about that. So various parties gave their ideas. So that kind of labor practices and labor laws are needed for the country. So we are, in terms of labor law and governance side, I think Sri Lanka is far ahead.
And probably the last question.
Yeah.
I don't want to put you in a spot, but does your industry care who may well lead our country next?
Anybody, anyone who can keep the policies consistent, anybody who understands the value of SWAT, anybody who understands the value of efficiency, anybody who understands getting the government sector to work efficiently is welcome. So I can't give you a name.
No.
Yeah, I can't give a name, but anybody who can do that is welcome by the industry.
Okay, and on the factory floor and everywhere else in your facilities, you practice robust democracy?
Of course, of course. Yeah, anybody can vote to anybody whom they like.
Okay.
We actually in our industry we don't do any political campaigns as such.
No.
Inside, no, we don't do.
But there are probably some countries in the region where
they do.
Factories are heavily politicized.
Yes, but we don't. As far as I know, none of the factories do like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Indika Liyanahewage, the chairman of the Sri Lanka Apparel Exporters Association. Thank you very much for being on the
Thank you
Turning
for us.
Point.
Thank you for inviting me for this.
Thank you. It's an absolute pleasure. And that's the way it was on the Turning Point. Take care. And just to remind you that you can send us SMS 0772 300 305 as always, and we'll take them. Thank you for watching Monday to Friday, 6 to 6:30. Bless you all.